Hello fellow Minecrafters! Welcome! My name is Brotoulon and I will be showing you how to do an automatic item sorter as well as showing you how and why it works. That's something you don't get on a lot of the videos that are around YouTube. You just get how you build it and that's that. But if you understand it, I believe that you will be better off for it because you can experiment, you can modify because you know how you can change things without interrupting its work. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the two major versions that you're going to find floating around YouTube. This one on the left here is a little bit more adjusted. This one on the right is the older, slightly older version, and the difference between the two is how far back they are and how the hoppers are placed. If you notice, they're both going to still have the 5 by 4 dimensions. It's also 5 by 4. But in this one, the chests are out front sitting on an extra block. The hoppers are directly above the torches, and there are only 2 sets of redstone. On this version, the hoppers go straight down into the chest. There's an extra block that I put in gold just so you can see the difference. There's that, it's just a little tease, 4 blocks, there's 4 plus 1, and it has 3 instead of 2 redstone out the back. The reason for this change was because when this hopper here, where all the measurements are taken, when it got so full, this system put out too strong of a signal with the redstone comparator, because it measures how much information essentially is inside this hopper, and it sets off all these other ones. It starts to go down the chain depending on how full you get, and that will start screwing with your filtering system. It'll start draining all of these out, and then your system's shot. So this was a change made to prevent that from happening, and this is also my preferred version. One of the other reasons being that if you notice, it's kind of hard to access this back hopper. Say you have this set into a wall, you've got walls coming out here, and a wall coming out here. You can't really get around. You can hop on top and kind of get into it like that, but that's a very small window. You can't really get to it from the front, except through the little cracks. Over here, this is as easy as it gets. You know, it's just a lot simpler. So those two reasons combined, this is the one that I prefer. Here are some single views of it. It is tileable, so you can make it as long or short as you want. You can filter as many items as you want, as long as they are stackable up to 64. I'm sure that you can find a way to do like snowballs because they only stack up to 16. That's going to take a little bit of experimentation with setting up this filter inside. But, so tools are out, armor is out, but you can do diamonds, you can do iron, you can do golden carrots, lapis blocks, glass, all sorts of things. As long as it's stackable to 64, this will work for you. Alright, so here's the basic structure of it. You have 3 hoppers. This top one is going to be your pipeline. You notice back there on the 2 sets, they're all pointing into each other. That makes it so that you can drop your items in that chest, and this hopper will suck it down and it'll just float along the side. Some systems use water to push it over hoppers, but that system has different issues. Some people found that soul sand can correct it and such, but hoppers are just the most consistent. They don't have a very big fail rate, you know, and they're fast. That's one of the best things about it. Things move so fast through here. So that's the first level. Next level, this hopper is where the items are measured. How much is in there? That is what actually sets off this contraption here in the back. So see, what happens is the redstone comparators check for how full this hopper is. Does it have above a threshold that you need or below it? And it puts out a redstone signal accordingly. So in this older version, it would put out it would activate 1 block of redstone, where this next one stayed unlit. And the new one, it's a little bit more full. You notice back here there are only 2 snowballs. Over here there are 8. It takes a few more and it activates farther, but that helps with the overflow. Keeps it from activating the other ones. So, as the redstone comparator senses there are too many items in here, it suddenly, turns this one on, which then activates this block, goes to this redstone, activates this block, and turns off this torch. This is the important part. This torch is what's keeping this bottom hopper from doing anything, from sucking down from the top or depositing to the front into the chest. This redstone torch is what makes it all possible. This is the switch that makes it change. So what happens is this redstone comparator measures the items, flows down here, turns off this torch, and then things start flowing. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll drop in diamonds as if these were floating along a pipeline, and then they just hit here, they get sucked down into here. You notice that's blinking back and forth. Do that again, and I'll show you. See how this is blinking? Turns the torch on and off, or keeps it off rather, and allows this hopper to be flowing. You don't actually see it because it's passing one out as it's pulling another one in. So that's how this works. This one is the same thing. Again, this is my preferred method, but it's a little bit longer, and it gives you access to all the hoppers just right in front of you. Okay. So, this is the gold block, as you notice right there. I didn't actually do it in that one, but right there, this torch will turn on this block, and in the old design, the torch is directly underneath the hopper. But with the new one, it's not there. So how does that transfer? Well, the redstone torch turns on this block, essentially. It powers this block, which then deactivates the hopper. So when this torch is turned off, this block is unpowered, and that makes the hopper go, and there, it just turned off because that is back to where it should be. Alright, so how do you do the filter? The filter depends on which system you're using and what filler you're using. In this older system, it takes less items. You notice there's 2 snowballs here in the last stack and 8 in the last stack on this one. Snowballs are my preferred method. I'll get into that when we get on to the next one. But the reason this takes more is because the comparator has to power more redstone. In order to power more redstone, this has to have more items in it. So the hopper is fuller. It's like filling up a battery to a larger capacity, and it takes more power to go through here. So that takes a total of 12 items here. This is 11 snowballs and one filter item. So this is kind of what it looks like. 11 snowballs spread across, 1 filler item or filter item. And the other side is like that. 1 filter item and 5 snowballs. Right there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, that's 2 filter items. This is one of the main differences between the old system and the new one. Another reason why I like the new one better, because if you're doing something valuable like diamonds, they're not as common, but you have to have 1 extra one in your filter. So it's 1 less that you can use. It's only 1, so I mean, take it as you will. If you have plenty of diamonds, you're not worried about having an extra one in your filter, no problem, you can go ahead and use this one. So if you don't want to use snowballs, the other option is to use a more common item, such as dirt, or sticks, or wood, anything that stacks to 64. So that's the primary difference between snowballs, which stack to 16, and these other items, which stack to 64. This has to do with how the redstone comparators work. I won't go into full detail. You can read about it on the wiki. The comparators measure, first off, how many items are in a given container, like a chest, a hopper, a dropper, anything like that. but it also takes into account what the maximum capacity is of the storage item. So in this case, you have all of these, the dirt and the diamonds, they both stack to 64. That means you have 5 pockets where you can actually store 64. That's a much larger number than over here, where you have one item where you have one pocket that can stack to 64, and then 4 that can only stack to 16. That's a quarter of it. So the calculation is very, very different, depending on whether you're using a 64 stackable filter item or a 16 stackable filter item. One of the reasons that I like snowballs better is because not a whole lot of people just carry them around. Snowballs are not everywhere. You've got to dig them up with a spade, or you can buy them if you have a system in place, things like that. But everybody can get dirt. All you have to do is punch the ground and you get dirt. You got to be in a mountainous area, a snowy area, and it takes fewer. But between these two, this one is my favorite, again, because you only need one filter item. So of the 4 options, the 2 new ones and 64 versus 16, and the 2 old ones, 64 versus 16, the 16 stack new one is my personal favorite. So now that you know how the item sorter works, this is going to be ground up how you build it. So first we'll do the old system. And that's 3 with a space in between each one. This is the back end. This is the front end. Put 2 in the middle like that. Redstone on the back 2 going down. Redstone comparator going into them. Redstone repeater going that direction. Leave it at its 1 tick. A redstone torch. Alright, then you take the chest, put it there on the front, put your first bottom hopper facing into it. This is where the items are going to flow into your chest. Next, you're going to want to put a piece of dirt or whatever material there, put your hopper into that facing forward. And this is so that the hopper doesn't actively drop it anywhere. It has to be drawn out by this bottom hopper. Finally, take your top hopper and you point it off to the side. This can go either direction. I just generally put them that way just because that's the way I do it. So this is your pipeline. This is where your items are filtered and where they're measured by the comparator. Comparator goes down here, turns on this block, goes up here, turns off the torch, and then as that hopper is filled up, this can come out, and this draws items out and deposits them there. So that's the old version. New version, let's build 2, and then your chest in place of that 3rd one. Those, and then the extra one. That doesn't have to be gold, it's just what I chose to put there so that you could see the difference. Put your comparator, 2 redstone, 3 redstone, repeater, torch, hopper going down into the chest, next hopper going forward, next hopper going to the side. So this is your hopper going into there. This is your hopper that's being measured. This is your hopper that is the pipeline. And that is the difference between the two. That's how you build it. And this video is actually in preparation for another video I'm going to be doing soon about how to use these item sorters for doing a trading system. Vanilla trading system, no command blocks, set up by anybody who doesn't have creative mode. So if you've got a server you're running for your friends on your LAN, or you've got, used to be Hamachi, but Hamachi want no free anymore. If you're using NeoRouter or some other virtual private networks program, this is something you can set up for you and your friends so you can be logged off and they can still trade with you. They can give you items in exchange for your items. And it's also going to allow them to get their items back should you not have anything available. So, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, any questions you might have, I'll try and get back to you. Thank you for watching.